right now we're about to get into a conversation, and this is actually a topic that touches the lives of many couples. And yeah, let me go straight into it. Infertility, right? Infertility, and we are going to be looking at, potential solutions when it comes to modern medicine to help in fertility. Anyway, in July is actually IVF month, and so we are, going to talk about IVF. And in the studio with me is Dr. Joseph Homia, who is a Chief Fertility Specialist at the Accra Fertility Center and Medifem. Hi, Doc.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. All right, Doc, let's just get straight into it. Everybody has been here, IVF, IVF, IVF. What is IVF?
IVF is basically in vitro fertilization. All that it means is that what typically happens in the bedroom to have a baby, unfortunately or fortunately, is being done in a laboratory. So the egg and the sperm are being put together in a laboratory to form an embryo, which is put back into the woman to achieve a pregnancy.
Okay, so how does it differ from other fertility treatments?
Oh, there are various fertility treatments. The key thing about IVF is that, or the main difference between IVF and others is that fertilization is taking place outside.
Okay.
All other forms of fertility treatments, it takes place inside the body.
Right.
But in vitro means outside the body, yes. So fertilization is taking place outside.
All right. Now, how do you know who is the right candidate for, this sort of treatment?
Everybody is a candidate for IVF. Most people would achieve conception naturally, but about 1 in 6 people, they will need some assistance to get pregnant. But there are some reasons why somebody would definitely need an IVF. If you talk about the male factors, you talk about very low sperm counts.
Oh, so the male factor is also coming.
Yes, IVF is not only for female factor.
Wow, we never hear that part. Usually it's always the women that are being attacked for that, but it's nice to hear from a doctor.
Yes, IVF is also for male factor. In fact, if we look at the number of IVFs we are doing now, about 50% is due to male factor.
50?
50%, yes, if not more. So the sperm count could be very low, or there will be complete absence of the sperm.
Right.
Such a person would need IVF.
Right.
Then the female factors come in. Either there's a blockage in the fallopian tubes, or there's a problem, hormonal imbalances, or there's a problem with the ovulation. So these are the main reasons why somebody would need an IVF. Then, of course, age.
Right.
After 40, a woman's fertility declines drastically. So she might need some form of assistance to get pregnant.
Right.
These are the main reasons. Obviously, there are other reasons why somebody would need an IVF. Some, there's no problem. A couple have stayed together for a number of years. They've been evaluated properly.
And there's nothing.
There's nothing.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of that.
Yeah, that's what we call unexplained infertility. IVF is one of the ways to get them pregnant.
Right. Okay, now, when it comes to IVFs, we have, heard a lot of stories, like people, not being, the whole process not being successful. What is the success rate when it comes to IVF?
I would say IVF is one of the technological miracles of the 21st century. To fertilize a sperm, an egg outside the body, sometimes freeze it for a couple of years, put it back, and life starts. It's a miracle of technology. Unfortunately, we haven't reached a point where it's 100%. So most centers would quote between 50 and 70%. But it depends mainly on the woman's age. The younger you are, the higher the chances of success.
Right. So when you say the woman's age, what affects it? Is it the body type? Is it her strength? Is it her hormones? What exactly is it?
One thing about women is a woman is born with all her eggs. You don't develop any eggs again. So as a baby, the day you are born, you've got all the eggs you would ever have.
Right.
From that day onwards, it keeps decreasing,
Yeah.
decreasing till eventually it gets
Obviously by periods.
by periods,
Yeah.
but other processes.
Okay.
So you get to the point where we call menopause.
Menopause.
So from 35, the decline is very rapid. Okay, so it's not only decline in quality, it's also decline in quantity.
In quantity, yeah.
Yes. So the quality goes down, and if the quality is poor, even if there's fertilization,
Yeah.
you could get to a pregnancy and a miscarriage,
Happens.
or babies with congenital anomalies. So the younger you are, the higher the quality of your egg,
Yeah.
the more the quantity.
All right.
So it's basically a matter of age.
Okay, so how can we maximize the chances of, a successful pregnancy?
First, you have to lead a healthy lifestyle. Lose weight, avoid alcohol, cut down your caffeine, lots of vegetables, lots of fruits. Then you go according to the instructions that your doctor has given.
Yeah.
And most often than not, you'll be successful.
Right, right. I like the way you talked about losing weight. A lot of times, especially in the African context, people think losing weight is about, fashion or anything, but you are the second person that have said that this week. The doctor that was here that talked about something else also talked about, losing weight. So I like that part. But now let's talk about emotional preparedness. Yes, it can be a very emotional roller coaster, especially, from the process of knowing that, oh, we can't have babies now. Probably we have a problem. Oh, okay, let's try IVF. So how should the couple prepare for this whole process?
Well, to go for a fertility consultation, as you already mentioned, is always a difficult, because these are things that are supposed to happen naturally. So, and there's a lot of pressure on these couples. So for them to even come to see a fertility specialist, it takes a lot. So once they come, they have to be counseled properly.
Yeah.
Even before you come, now there's so much you can read about. If you go to the right blogs, social media, you can read so much. So as much as possible, read about the procedure. Get information from people who have done it before.
Have an idea of it before coming.
Then when you come to the hospital, you need to see a counselor. Nobody should actually go through an IVF process without seeing a counselor. You have to be counseled psychologically to be prepared
for anything.
For all the options, all the possible outcomes before you actually start the procedure itself. And of course, you need family support. There are some days you might not need, you might not be able to go to work. You need support from whatever organization you are. So it takes a lot. You have to really prepare well. You just don't start today because your friend is pregnant today.
Right. Anyway, if you're watching us and you're interested in this topic, feel free to send in your questions to the WhatsApp number, and then we will get to read it out. Talking about the WhatsApp numbers, we actually have a question right now. While on IVF procedure, is it allowed to be having intercourse?
Once you start the process itself, would recommend that you stay off. Once pregnancy is achieved, would recommend you stay off maybe the first 6 weeks. After that, it's like any other pregnancy. There are no restrictions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So what considerations should couples actually keep in mind when it comes to deciding if IVF is the best option?
Oh, there are some indications. It's only IVF that can solve. If your tubes are blocked, there's no way you're going to get pregnant without IVF.
Yeah.
If the sperm count is very low, it's virtually impossible to get pregnant. So these ones, once you are diagnosed, obviously, any doctor who's seeing you will tell you that you require IVF.
Right.
So these are clear-cut indications, but they are the ones unexplained infertility, prolonged infertility, and all that.
Yeah. Are there any side effects or risks involved in it?
Well, it's a surgical procedure to pick up the eggs.
Oh.
Before the eggs are picked up, you're going to have injections every day for about 12 to 14 days, which can be. And
so you can have that by yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've seen some
people do it themselves.
Yeah.
The biggest complication is what we call ovarian hyperstimulation. some people overreact to the medications.
Ovarian hyperstimulation
Syndrome.
Okay.
So they overreact to the medications, they get bloated, the abdomen gets distended. But it's something that you recover from within a week or two. You're back to your normal self.
Within a week or two?
Yeah.
The bloat comes down?
It comes back, not back to normal.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
And the babies born out of IVF are cognitively, developmentally, they are the same as any other baby.
I was going to ask you that because a lot of people, especially religious people or people who are not well informed about this, always have a problem with IVF. They call them laboratory babies.
Yeah.
So what are some of the myths that you would like to, abolish here right now?
Yeah, because of the processes involved to get a baby, it doesn't sound natural. So once it doesn't sound natural, people get the impression that the babies are not going to be normal. They're going to be scientific babies and all that. But as of today, 8 million babies have been born from IVF.
Ooh,
and there's been so many
8
studies.
million.
Yes, so many studies to compare them to other children that were conceived naturally.
Right.
They've not found any difference between these children and those that were conceived naturally. In fact, the first IVF baby, Louise Brown, was born in '78, and up till today, she had her own children naturally without any problems.
Right.
So there's really no issue about that.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about specific healthy and lifestyle changes like one should actually prepare for or go through if you want to have a baby, either by natural, natural route or maybe IVF. So what should we do, women and men?
Yes, exercise is good. It's good for your normal health. It's good for fertility. Diet is key. Lots of vegetables, lots of fruits. Cut down on fatty foods. Cut down on processed foods. All these boost your fertility. Cut down on alcohol, or if you can stop. I mean, if you are really getting to the point of
wanting to
trying to have a baby, it's good to stop. Smoking should be out. Cut down on anxiety. It's easy to say, but very difficult to track your cycles. Most people, the main issue is they are not having sex at the right time.
Oh, okay.
Some will come that we've been married 5 years, but no children. Then you ask, are you staying together? So my husband in the US. How are you going to get pregnant when your husband is in the US? But she has calculated as 5 years.
Thinking that, okay.
Yeah. So you track your cycles, have sex at the right time. Eventually, most often, like I said, for 80–85% of people, they'll get pregnant naturally.
Right.
There's only 15% that might require some assistance.
Right.
And amongst that, maybe about 2–3% will require IVF.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you. Lastly, is it expensive?
Relatively, yes. Elsewhere, insurance pays part of it and all that. But in Ghana, you have to pay cash for everything. So compared to the standard of living in the economy, it's a bit expensive. But having a child is priceless.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Doc. It's really, really nice having you on the show.
Nice having you.
And thank you for, taking us through in vitro fertilization, known as IVF too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and thank you for sending in your questions. And we've been talking to Dr. Joseph Homia, who is the Chief Fertility Specialist at the Accra Fertility Center and Medifem Hospital. And we've been talking about IVF because July is actually IVF Awareness Month. Thank you so much.